Hey guys, Tim here with another one. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. What's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? Well, mine is I almost bled to death. Literally. It was a scary day. A couple of years ago, I got woke up by my wife. She says, "Babe, I need your help. The dogs are in the yard and they're barking at another dog." I'm like, okay, we had literally just moved into this house a couple of weeks before that. Our dogs were unfamiliar with the area. One of the neighbor's dogs came over into our yard. I don't think it was a mean dog or anything, but my dogs weren't having it at the time. They were pretty upset about it, so I go outside and I grab a hold of my dog and tell him, "Come on, Duke, let's go inside." Well, Duke didn't want nothing to do with that, so I grabbed his collar and started pulling him inside, and well, he grabbed a hold of me too. So at the same time as he grabbed me, I grabbed him and I slipped on a recycling bin inside of my four-season porch, slid backwards into a window. Here comes one of my dogs now. So, slid backwards into a window and my right arm, just my elbow went through the window. And next thing you know, well, there's something under here called your brachial artery. I slit that. Not very much, but just enough to where it started spraying everywhere. And it was the scariest thing I ever went through in my life. I almost bled to death. Luckily, my daughter called 911. She was 14 at the time. She called 911, and my wife wrapped a towel around me and held me down on the ground as I screamed that I didn't want to die and everything else. And it was horrible. It was definitely traumatic, and the scariest thing that's ever happened to me for sure. So the ambulance showed up. Volunteer firefighters showed up first, and they put a tourniquet on my arm. Thank God. I was cut under my arm here, about my armpit. I'm sure you can see the scar here. Still see the staple marks 2 years later. It was right about here. Went to the hospital, and the ambulance took me to, they couldn't do anything to help me, and they said the vascular surgeon was out playing golf. It was a Saturday. So 10 minutes later, I get put back in the same ambulance and get rushed 40 minutes away to the next nearest hospital. And they told them that I needed exploratory surgery in my arm to see if I had glass stuck in my arm, which I knew I didn't because I was spraying blood out of my arm, and I knew I needed blood immediately. I don't know why they were waiting so long, but I almost bled out. In that hospital, as I'm in a waiting room, my own room, waiting for a emergency room, surgery room to open up, I kept telling them, I'm really thirsty, I need something to drink bad, and they wouldn't give me anything to drink. So I told them, I said, all right, well, I got to go to the bathroom. So I walked in the bathroom, I turned on the sink and started drinking out of the sink like a dog. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I did that, because when I did that, it disrupted whatever in my arm, and I started bleeding again, and they saw how bad I was bleeding to begin with. And when I say bleeding, I mean spraying blood out of my arm 10 feet across the room, like The Exorcist. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. I'll insert some pictures. You can see me in the hospital bed just as I had gotten out of surgery and woken up, luckily. I had lost quite a bit of blood. I think they had given me 3 pints of blood. I had a transfusion, a couple of transfusions as well. I had to spend 4 days in the hospital. When I had woken up, they had taken a vein out of my leg and put it in my arm to replace part of my brachial artery where I was cut. And there's also something in your arm right here called your ulnar nerve. Your ulnar nerve controls half of your hand all the way down through, and mine happened to be severed as well in that accident. So Now I suffer from nerve damage in my arm. I can't feel half of my arm all the way down through. My pinky I cannot feel whatsoever at all, and my other fingers are starting to bend down and in. My tendons are bending in. They wanted to send me to a specialist at a children's hospital in Texas to reattach the nerve with no guarantees. And I've opted out of doing that for now because I was in so much pain after the surgery the first time that I couldn't fathom going through it again voluntarily. That's my dog. Anyways, I couldn't voluntarily go through that type of pain again. Duke, leave him alone. You don't like the cat. So, here I am, 2 years later, healed up as far as it's going to be, I believe. Very little use in my hand. I can't make a fist all the way. My finger's starting to curl back over, unfortunately. I can barely move my pinky as it is. But it's been rough. My job is to drive people's vehicles, and I couldn't work for a while. They had me on all kinds of medicines for a while to where the doctor wouldn't even give me a license back. They restricted my license because of it. And yeah, I was put out of work for a long time because of this, which was very, very hard. Luckily, my wife definitely took over and ran the business until I could get back. And slowly I got back to where I could dispatch at least, answer the phones again. And what we do is we run a designated driver car service where we drive people home inside of their own vehicles. And I have a chase vehicle that follows, so I'll show up with 2 people in our vehicle. One will get out and drive them wherever they got to go inside of their vehicle. So there was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to do this at that time. So, it was rough for the first 6 months, really. I couldn't work. Then I finally got back to work, and we started getting back on track, and COVID hit. COVID took us out of work again. Now, this is a business that I took 5 years to build up, and it was super hard, so I didn't know what to do. And we decided we were going to start reselling. And it's not a full-time thing yet. It's barely paying bills, but it is helping out. And it's going to take a while to build it up there. But I just wanted to let people know what happened to me and what my scariest thing was in life. And I wouldn't mind hearing some of your stories. If you got some scary stories, let me know. And I wish you all the best of luck. And just don't let anything keep you down. Keep your head up, keep on going. I'm going to put some pictures in here of what happened to me and how far along I've came since then. Some things knock you down, other things pick you up, and you go with the flow. Thanks for watching, YouTube. This is Tim. I'll see you next time.